On the night I had sex with the drunk Meng Fu, he had just broken up with his ex-girlfriend Tong Li. Out of a sense of responsibility, he married me. Meng Nanzi Hi. The days after marriage were clean and stable, and I once thought this was the forever I had been secretly in love with for my entire youth. It wasn't until Tong Li passed away from illness that Meng Fu learned at her memorial that she hadn't stopped loving him back then. She had left completely heartbroken after witnessing what happened between us that night. Coincidentally, he found my secret love diary that I had hidden for years, and he firmly believed that I had deliberately plotted everything, hating me to the bone. He forced me to divorce, made me leave the house with nothing, suppressed me everywhere, and drove me into a dead end. On the verge of death, his cold curse echoed in my ears, "Your love makes me sick." When I opened my eyes again, I was back to hours before that night when Meng Fu got drunk and the incident was about to happen. Without hesitation, I grabbed my coat and rushed out of the room, knocking on Tong Li's door. Her eyes were red and swollen. Obviously, she had just been crying. Seeing me, she looked shocked. "Nancy Hi, why are you here? Sister Tong Li, can I come in and talk?" I tried to calm my voice and got straight to the point. "I'm here to apologize on behalf of my brother. He forgot your birthday, it's his fault. It's not that he doesn't love you, he's just never been good at expressing himself since he was a child. After you broke up with him, he's now drinking alone in a bar, drowning his sorrows." Pausing for a moment, I said softly, "Sister minus law, go find him." In the previous life, after he married me, every year on Tong Li's birthday he would drink alone. He had never let her go. Tong Li was stunned for a moment, then got up to change her clothes. "How did Meng Fu, such a cold person, raise such a thoughtful sister like you?" "Thank you, Nanzi Hi." I told her which bar Meng Fu was in, and watched her figure disappear into the corridor, letting out a long sigh of relief. In this life, there would be no more that night that ruined 3 people's lives. When I got home, I took out the diary hidden deep in the wardrobe. When I was 10 years old, I was homeless on the street, and it was the 18-year-old Meng Fu who picked me up. He was cold to outsiders but extremely gentle to me. Since I first felt the stirrings of love, I had fallen in love with him, and this secret love had been hidden in my heart for a full 10 years. I tore the diary page by page, flushed the pieces down the toilet, and completely buried that humble obsession. About 2 hours later, the door opened, and Tong Li helped the drunk Meng Fu back. He hugged Tong Li tightly, begging vaguely, Li, don't break up with me. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry." Tong Li looked helpless and kept agreeing. Okay, I won't break up with you." Seeing me, she sighed with relief. "Nancy Hi, can you please make some hangover soup? It'll help him back to the room first." I nodded, stood in the kitchen waiting for the water to boil, and listened to the noises coming from the bedroom. He was acting cockathiously, and she was laughing. When Meng Fu first took me to meet Tong Li in the previous life, I knew they were a perfect match. Tong Li was bright and generous, from a good family, well-minus educated, and treated me, this sister, very well. If it weren't for me, she wouldn't have fallen ill from depression, and they would have had a perfect life. In this life, I would make up for all the regrets. Tong Li took care of Meng Fu in his room all night. The next morning, when I went downstairs, I saw Meng Fu busy in the kitchen frying eggs, heating milk, cutting toast, his movements skillful and gentle. He put the breakfast in front of Tong Li. "Eat while it's hot." Tong Li smiled and poked him. "When did you become so good at taking care of people?" His eyes fell on Tong Li's face. The corners of his mouth rose slightly. He didn't speak, but his eyes were full of tenderness. "After we got married in the previous life, he would also cook for me. When I had my period, he would clumsily cook brown sugar ginger tea on my birthday. He would cancel his social gatherings and cook a whole table of dishes for me. But at this moment, His look at me was as cold as looking at a stranger, no extra words, no extra expressions, and even when I sat down, he deliberately kept a distance from me. After taking a bite of bread, I stood up in full. I have classes at school. I have to go first. Tom Lee quickly tried to keep me so in a hurry. You haven't drunk your milk yet. I'm running out of time. I grabbed my school bag and fled the house in a hurry. That day, I stayed in the library, checking study abroad materials and filling out application forms. In the previous life, I gave up my dream of studying abroad to stay by Meng FUS side. In this life, I would go far away, live for myself. In the evening, I originally planned to stay in the dormitory, but Tom Lee called her voice sergeant. Nancy Chai, come home for dinner. I have big news to tell you. When I got home, Meng Fu opened the door. Seeing me, he frowned. Why are you back? Sister Tong Lee said she has something to tell me. I replied softly. Tong Lee poked her head out of the kitchen, smiled and pressed me onto the sofa. Nancy Hi is back. Watch TV, dinner will be ready soon. Meng Fu helped her in the kitchen. Through the glass door, I saw him bowing his head to listen to Tong Lee, a faint smile on his lips, his eyes as gentle as water. After dinner, Tong Lee announced with a blushing face, Meng Fu proposed to me today. She held out her left hand, and the diamond ring on her ring finger sparkled under the light. Congratulations, brother, sister minus and minus law. I wish you happiness. I showed a sincere smile, lowered my head to eat, avoiding the gaze Meng Fu cast on me. After dinner, I took the initiative to clean up the dishes. The sound of them discussing a wedding came from the living room. Tong Lee talked about her plans, and Meng Fu responded in a low voice, full of indulgence. Just as I walked to the living room door, I heard Meng Fu's voice. When she graduates, let her move out. You'll buy her an apartment near the school. It's not convenient for a girl to live with us all the time. Tong Lee disagreed, but it's not safe for Nancy Hi to live alone. Besides, you two are siblings. What's wrong with living together? Meng Fu's voice was cold. She has grown up. She should have her own life. And we also need our own minus person world. I stood there, not listening any longer, turned around and quietly went upstairs, picked up my bag and left. After walking far away, I sent Tong Lee a message, sister minus and minus law. Something suddenly came up at school. I have to go back. Good night, brother and sister minus and minus law. 3 days later, while I was checking materials in the library, I suddenly remembered something from the previous life. Tong Lee died of bone cancer, which was already in the advanced stage when it was discovered. That meant there might already be cancer cells in her body now. Without apologizing, I knocked over a chair and rushed out of the library, calling Tong Lee while running, asking her to have afternoon tea with me. In the cafe, I made up an excuse. The school is organizing a physical examination, and I'm scared to go alone. Sister minus and minus law, can you go with me? It's like a pre-minus marital check minus up. After all, you're going to marry my brother. Tong Lee blushed in degree. During this time, Meng Fu called, urging her to go home early, his voice full of clinginess. As soon as I walked to the school gate, Meng Fu's car stopped there. He got out of the car, grabbed my wrist suddenly, dragged me to the corner, and threw me away hard. I stumbled and fell to the ground. My knees and elbows scraped, and blood beads slowly oozed out. He looked down at me, his eyes as cold as ice. Nancy Hi, I warn you, stay away from Tong Lee. Don't say what you shouldn't say, don't do what you shouldn't do. I didn't. I just wanted her to go for a physical examination with me. I stood up with the support of my arms, my voice trembling a little. He paused for a moment, blurting out, "Are you sick?" staring at me for a long time. He squatted down, checked the wound on my knee, and his tone softened a little. "Get in the car." He took me to a pharmacy to buy iodine and gauze, squatted by the road to bandage my wound. His movements were not gentle, but very careful. "Finally," he said, "this weekend, it'll take you both for the physical examination." On the day the physical examination results came out, Tong Lee cried uncontrollably. Early minus stage bone cancer. The doctor said that it was discovered very timely, and the cure rate was very high. Meng Fu hugged Tong Li, his hands trembling uncontrollably, full of fear. Tong Li held my hand with red eyes. Nanzi. Thank you. Really thank you. I shook my head and patted her back. Meng Fu's gaze crossed Tong Li's shoulders and fell on me, deep and heavy, but he didn't say a word. I knew that the tragedy of the previous life would not happen again. Tong Li would live. Meng Fu would not hate me anymore, and I would leave completely. After Tong Li was hospitalized, the surgery was very successful, followed by chemotherapy. Meng Fu cancelled all his work and stayed by her bed in the hospital every day. I was busy with school in the hospital, as well as preparing materials for studying abroad, so busy that I barely had time to catch my breath. One night, when I got home, Meng Fu stopped me and handed me a key. I bought an apartment near your school, 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. It's already decorated. Move there as soon as possible. I was stunned for a moment, took the key, and said calmly, okay. He looked at me, as if trying to see something from my face. I just put away the key and turned upstairs. In the days that followed, I came home later and later, and the things in my room became fewer and fewer day by day. The bookcase was empty, the wardrobe was empty, and only an only jewelry box was left on the dressing table. It contained the 18th birthday gift Meng Fu gave me, a pair of pearl earrings. On the day I moved, Meng Fu came downstairs, looked at my 3 packed cardboard boxes in 1 suitcase, and frowned. Only these? I don't want most of the things. He walked over and picked up the heaviest cardboard box. I'll do it. Back and forth 3 times, he moved all the things to the truck. Finally, he stood at the door of my empty room, looking at the jewelry box. Don't you want this? No. I turned around and left, not looking back. Brother, I'm leaving. I stood at the door, the sun shining behind me. Thank you for taking care of me during this time. Sister minus and minus law's health hasn't fully recovered. Please take more care of her, brother. Meng Fu looked at me and suddenly said, I'll go see you when I have time. No need, brother, you're busy. I turned around, boarded the truck, and didn't look at him again. Later, I heard that he stood at the door, watching the truck disappear at the intersection, standing there for a long time. He also sent a message asking if I had forgotten to take the earrings, and I replied, no, brother, throw them away. After that, no matter how many messages he sent, I never replied. September, London. I dragged my suitcase out of Heathrow Airport, took a deep breath, and the air was full of exotic flavors. I sent a message to Tong Li to tell her I was safe, and she replied immediately, with a series of exhortations, and also said, your brother asked me to ask if you arrived safely. I was stunned for a moment and replied, I arrived. Tell him not to worry. After settling down, my life got on track. The courses were heavy and I stayed in the library every day. On weekends, I occasionally had dinner with Ziyan. I met Ziyan when I was handling the study abroad procedures. He was gentle and considerate, knew my past, and never crossed the line. We were like comrades minus and minus arms, encouraging and supervising each other. Tom Lee Video Minus called me every week, and occasionally she would say, Nanzi, you've lost weight, your brother also said. She stopped halfway. I never asked. I didn't want to have any more involvement with Meng Fu. In December, London had its first snow. I took a photo of the snow scene and posted it on Moments. Tong Li liked it immediately, and Meng Fu also liked it, but didn't leave a comment. I took a look, turned off my phone and didn't care. What I didn't know was that Meng Fu, far away in China, stared at that photo for a long time. In the photo, I was wearing a red coat and a gray scarf, smiling with curved eyes in the snow, a look he had never seen before. On the day of Tong Li's Re- examination, everything went well. The doctor said that she only needed to re-examine every 6 months in the future. That night, Meng Fu had a clear dream, replaying all the scenes of the previous life, drinking in the bar, forcing me, Tong Li seeing it outside the door, Tong Li's death, him forcing me to divorce. My lonely death. He suddenly woke up, covered in cold sweat, and all the memories came back. He finally realized how wrong he was, how cruel he was. As soon as dawn broke, Meng Fu called me. But it prompted that the number was empty. He sent a WeChat message, and a red exclamation mark appeared in front of the message. I had blocked him. He begged Tong Li to help him contact me, but Tong Li shook her head. You have no right to beg me, let alone her. She died alone in a rental house in the previous life, and the last thing she heard was you saying your love makes me sick. Later, Tong Li softened her heart and sent me a message, saying that Meng Fu had remembered everything and wanted to apologize to me. I replied, I don't hate you, but I will never forgive you. And I will never look back. Since then, Meng Fu completely collapsed. He started drinking heavily, ignoring the company's affairs. Projects failed, clients left, and Meng's group gradually fell into crisis. Tong Li broke up with him without any hesitation. Half a year later, Meng's group went bankrupt. The real estate was seized, all his assets were frozen, and the once glorious president of Meng's group was reduced to nothing overnight. 3 years later, Shanghai. I returned to China after finishing my studies, joined a top design company in the industry, and was promoted to director in just half a year. The press conference for the project I lead was a complete success. My phone rang. It was Tong Li's call. She smiled and invited me to have afternoon tea on the weekend, and said she wanted to introduce me to her boyfriend Lin Yu. In the cafe on the weekend, I met Lin Yu, gentle and elegant, full of doting for Tong Li. I was completely relieved. Tong Li deserved such happiness. During the chat, Tong Li asked me, "Are you still alone?" "That's Ian. We've always been friends. He has someone he likes." I smiled and said, "If I can't meet the right person, being alone is also good. I don't want to look back. Nor do I want to settle." Tong Li looked at me, her eyes slightly red, but she smiled and said, "Okay, as long as you're happy. Thank you, Nanzi Hi. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for letting me meet Lin Yu. And thank you for finally living for yourself." As the sun set, I walked slowly along the street. Passing a bookstore, my reflection appeared in the window. Short hair, capable, clear eyes, completely different from the humble Meng, Nanzi Chai in the previous life who revolved around Meng Fu. My phone vibrated. It was a blessing from Ziyan. I smiled and replied, put away my phone, and continued walking forward. Behind me were thousands of lights, and in front of me was a broad road. I would never look back. In the distance, on the corner of the street, a shabby middle-aged man squatted there, looking at my back, his eyes red. He tried to stand up, but his legs went weak, so he could only squat there and cry silently. No one cared about him in this world. There was no longer a place for him. As for Tong Li and me, we had long broken free from the chains of the past and marched towards our own warm new life.